Creating impactful and lasting change is a mission, a vision, and a movement. Welcome to Nonprofit Voices of Impact, the show that will delve into the heart of the nonprofit world, showcasing the leaders and change makers who are driving meaningful transformation in our community. Through engaging interviews, real-life success stories, and valuable insights, this podcast highlights the passion, innovation, and dedication that fuels nonprofits across Westchester County. Whether you're a nonprofit leader or advocate, Nonprofit Voices of Impact empowers you with the knowledge and inspiration to make a powerful difference. I'm your host, Dr. Marsha Gordon, President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester, and I'm joined by my co-host, Linda Tyler, Vice President of Membership and Programs, Business Council of Westchester. Nonprofit Voices of Impact is sponsored by New York Presbyterian and PCSB Bank. Thank you for your support of the BCW Podcast Network. Take your organization far with the power of local banking. PCSB Bank's array of services, customized solutions, and local financing decisions mean you have a powerful commercial bank nearby when you need them. Voted Best in Business Banking for 2 years in a row by 914 Inc., PCSB Bank's commitment to serving consumers, businesses, and nonprofits in the community is unparalleled. Stop by one of their 14 branches located throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, or call 888-808-4700 to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. New York Presbyterian has 3 campus locations in Westchester. New York Presbyterian Westchester in Bronxville, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital in Cortlandt Manor, and New York Presbyterian Westchester Behavioral Health in White Plains, and a new state-of-the-art facility opening in 2025 at 1111 Westchester Avenue in White Plains. Known as New York Presbyterian The One, this center of excellence will improve access to medical care by offering a wide range of adult and pediatric specialty care, all under one roof, delivered by exceptional teams led by trusted Columbia doctors. NYP The One will include centers of excellence in cardiovascular and neurosensory treatment, men's health, women's health, pediatric health, and a cancer center satellite.
On today's episode, we're shining a light on the missions of 2 incredible non-for-profit organizations, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Westchester and Putnam, and the Westchester Children's Association. Joining us are 2 remarkable leaders, Ann Ellsworth, Chief Executive Officer of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and Adam Rabinovich, Executive Director of the Westchester Children's Association. I am Linda Tyler, Vice President of Membership and Programs for the Business Council of Westchester. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
So before we begin, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your organizations. Anne, why don't we start with you?
Oh, wonderful. Ladies first. No, thank you, Adam, and thank you, Linda. Thank you again for having me. I'm very excited to be asked to be part of this amazing podcast. The Big Brothers Big Sisters of Westchester and Putnam has been around since 1960-something. Believe it or not, right up here in Westchester. But only 4 years ago, we became our own independent not-for-profit. We came out from the umbrella of Family Services of Westchester, which was an amazing organization and such a support for us, or is an amazing organization. And I've joined the organization a year ago, about a year ago in September. Really proud to be part of this amazing organization.
And the great work you both do. Adam, talk to us a little bit about the Westchester Children's Association.
With pleasure. And I'll just mention that I'm a Westchester child. So I was born in Mount Kisco, the 10549, and grew up in Chappaqua, 10514. And recognized early on that even though those 2 zip codes were adjacent and right next to each other, they were 2 very different communities. So I had a sense, even in my early days in Westchester, that Westchester is made up of lots of different stories. Not just one. And so bringing it forward to my leadership at Westchester Children's Association, which has been around for 111 years as we're recording and talking at the end of 2025, to advocate for kids across the county regardless of race or zip code. And as a Westchester kid myself, it's a real honor to be able to lead this organization and that mission forward.
Both of your organizations have incredible stories. And as you said, Westchester County is home to almost 1 million people. And there are many stories out there and many different situations. And to be able to reach as many young people as possible is truly a mission. It truly is. And let's start with you. What challenges do our youth in Westchester face today?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, we don't have a lot of time. So really, our children are facing isolation. I think that there are so many other issues that happen to our children and around our children that it affects their ability to connect. I think COVID had an effect on their ability to connect and stay connected. And now we live in a world where it's all about what's on the screen in front of you. And so many of our kids spend too much time in that realm and not connected to another person. And so as we look at it from a mentorship perspective, how do we connect our kids? How do we break down those barriers of isolation and get them connected again to themselves as well as to other people?
And exactly, because I see it as well. All of us do. You know, kids, they don't know anything else, and they're on their phones all the time. They're not just sitting down having those conversations the way maybe we did, as much as we did growing up. So let's talk a little bit about how do we help our children overcome some of these challenges? What are some solutions out there?
Oh, wow. So many. Adam, you go right ahead.
Well, I'll certainly add and amplify everything Anne's sharing. And one of the key issues that Westchester Children's Association, among many partners, is focused on improving is youth well-being and youth mental health. And there are some great initiatives that we are part of and invite your listeners and audience to learn more and join, including the Disconnect to Reconnect initiative. A lot of ways that we're looking to support kids and those who care about them, including schools and families, to make sure that technology is being leveraged and harnessed in the best way. So that sort of touch grass and Disconnect to Reconnect, which again we can make sure your audience has a link to get involved, is one of the ways that we as a county and a broad and diverse group of stakeholders are working to make sure that the next generation is connected to each other in healthy ways.
You know, such a good point. And I think what I'm also hearing the two of you say is it takes everyone, right?
Absolutely.
It's schools, it's families, it's friends. It's really kind of setting a tone. And I think a study was done years ago. It doesn't work, obviously. Every family is different and everybody has different schedules. But to try to have dinner or maybe one meal together several times a week has a profound effect on connecting kids and parents and families. And I think that really relates to what the two of you are saying. Adam, WCA is often described as the voice for children in Westchester. What does that mean in practice? And why is it so important that children have an independent advocate speaking up for them and their needs?
Yes, thank you. That's a great question. And that's really the reason for our existence for the last 111 years. And we'll stick around for as long as kids need that voice, because we're supporting young people from age 0 to 26 in a variety of issues, including youth well-being and mental health and ending childhood poverty, which we haven't done yet in our county or in our society, and fighting to end youth homelessness and improving youth justice outcomes, and also ensuring that early childhood outcomes are enhanced and improved. So kids at least under the age of 18, they can't vote, they can't hire lobbyists, so where's their seat at the table? And Westchester Children's Association, along with our partners, are there to ensure that children's voices are heard. And we use data. We collect a lot of data from community partners and hear from family members themselves, those lived experiences. And we make sure that we are supporting parents, caregivers, and kids and youth to be their own advocates so that they can join county budget legislative hearings, for example, and tell their own stories and inspire policy change and moving the needle for those core issues that all kids deserve support around. And that's why we're the voice of children in Westchester County, to lift up those voices and make sure they're heard.
You know, I think that is so beautifully said, because you're right. As Americans, we have a voice, and we should use it. We should share it. So not only as adults advocating for children, but just as importantly, teaching them how to advocate for themselves.
Finding their voice is very important.
And using it,
right?
And
using it and knowing the power that they have in it, I think, is very important.
Very good points.
Yeah.
And Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Westchester is a local organization, part of a national organization as well. And how does that structure help you amplify your voice and your impact?
We're happy to be part of Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. They set our standards. We're an affiliate, I would say we'd call it, but we are our own nonprofit. We're responsible for our own fundraising, our own programs, but we follow a standard, and that standard ensures our children are safe. That's our biggest goal, making sure our children have access and exposure to opportunities and growth in this community, but at the same time, making sure those experiences are kept safe and healthy, and that it gives them a pathway to success.
And we'll talk a little bit more in a few minutes about your mentorship program. Thank you. It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
Well, Adam, Westchester is known for its wealth, but child poverty and youth homelessness continue to rise, unfortunately. What impact is WCA having on these challenges, and what changes do you believe are urgently needed from our local leaders? Talk about voice, right?
Yes, no, absolutely. And thank you for lifting up that issue and those voices because we see in our county, just like in so many other parts of the country and the world, that those trends are still going in the direction that none of us want to see. And one of the reasons or challenges is that even defining homelessness in our county is a little bit unique because the national definition has a very specific meaning, but we see a lot of kids who aren't necessarily in shelters, but they have unstable housing. They're doubled up, couch surfing, and living in unsafe conditions. So first, we want to make sure that policymakers and others recognize that housing instability is a slippery slope to homelessness, and that all kids deserve stable housing. So some of the urgent changes, and we've already started talking about how they're connected, are making sure that there is stable and affordable housing across the county, that there are stronger mental health supports for kids regardless of race, zip code, and where they're living, and making sure that there are investments in childcare and single parents or caregivers who can't afford the average rate of $20,000 for childcare are finding it really hard to juggle jobs, income, transportation, and their own stable housing. So these are interlocking issues, all of which need to be addressed in a holistic way.
Everything you've said is so important, and these are very basic but hugely important needs for families. Well, I'd like the two of you to talk a little bit about, you've given us such a powerful look at the changing face young people are seeing in our country, right? And the critical work your organizations are doing to support them, the landscape. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll dive into mentorship, and I can't wait to hear about that, collaboration, and the measurable impact these programs have on children and families, because both of your organizations have a lot of really wonderful programs. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
Thank you, Linda.
New York Presbyterian has 3 campus locations in Westchester. New York Presbyterian Westchester in Bronxville, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital in Cortlandt Manor, and New York Presbyterian Westchester Behavioral Health in White Plains, and a new state-of-the-art facility opening in 2025 at 1111 Westchester Avenue in White Plains. Known as New York Presbyterian The One, this center of excellence will improve access to medical care by offering a wide range of adult and pediatric specialty care, all under one roof, delivered by exceptional teams led by trusted Columbia doctors. NYP The One will include centers of excellence in cardiovascular and neurosensory treatment, men's health, women's health, pediatric health, and a cancer center satellite. Take your organization far with the power of local banking. PCSB Bank's array of services, customized solutions, and local financing decisions mean you have a powerful commercial bank nearby when you need them. Voted best in business banking for 2 years in a row by 914 Inc., PCSB Bank's commitment to serving consumers, businesses, and nonprofits in the community is unparalleled. Stop by one of their 14 branches located throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, or call 888-808-4700 to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to the BCW Podcast Network. We're continuing our conversation on youth empowerment, advocacy, and community impact with Ann Ellsworth, Chief Executive Officer of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Westchester and Putnam, and Adam Rabinovich, Executive Director of Westchester's Children's Association. And tell us a little bit about your experience with mentoring. How does it work? Who can be a mentor? And what does it take to become a mentor?
Oh, thank you so much for that opportunity. And I just want to say, Adam, the issues around policy are so interrelated to all of the work that we do every day. It is such a refreshing opportunity to hear you speak about it in so clear and concise ways, because there's so much work to do with and for our youth, and they need to find their voice. And it's so important to know that work is going on while we're working with the kids in the front lines as well, trying to give them that bridge.
That's so well
very
said.
Different perspectives.
And none of us can do it alone, so that kind of a collaboration and that lens means everything. So,
yeah, thanks. I agree. And again, mentoring is everything. And how many of us in our lives can think about getting to where we are without a mentor? We may not have called them that. We may not have called them a big brother or a big sister, but having that person in our lives that we had the privilege and the access to. Access is everything. Mentorship, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, creating that one-to-one community mentorship is about bringing two people together who don't know each other, matching them, which is a big process we won't go into. I have no time because that would be too long. But seeing that the birth of a relationship that's not about family, but about support, not about obligation, but about choice. And having someone, an older person in your life, to talk to about the pieces of your life that you may not feel okay talking to at home. Someone who, you have a parent who's working 3 jobs, making sure that you have a roof over your head and you have food in your stomach and you're going to school. And that's the most important piece. They don't always have time for the rest. They come to us and say, help my kid find another piece of himself or herself. Help them become their best selves. How do they learn to live to their best self? Because unless you have the resources in your community, within the reach of your hand, you may not have that. And so if you don't have access to it, you might never have that opportunity.
And that mentorship, and as you've said, it has benefited all of us throughout our lives. That's a person with a little bit of added wisdom or perspective and advice.
Right.
Is critical. Where do you find your mentors? Tell us about that.
They find us. We try and find them for wherever we can, but we're always in need of more. We have, unfortunately, 87 children on our waiting list right now.
Okay,
ready
so
for mentors.
Listeners out there, if you are at all interested doing something wonderful like this,
it's a wonderful
please
thing.
Contact Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
And it's a lot less than you think it is. Just being present makes a big difference. It's not a huge lift, but it's an important lift.
Thank you for sharing that and making that distinction. It's an incredible opportunity.
It is.
Wonderful opportunity to give back. Adam, you often collaborate with partners across sectors. How has working with community partners and businesses helped expand WCA's impact on children and their families?
It's everything. This is the strength in numbers approach, the it takes a village approach, and that no one can go it alone or should. And partnerships for Westchester Children's Association, and we're a backbone organization in many ways. We're great at convening, bringing people together in ways that are not duplicating or being redundant, but really leveraging each other's strengths. And so partnerships are a force multiplier in Westchester County for us. We work closely with service providers, youth bureaus, and corporate Westchester and corporate America is an incredibly important part of the equation. I'll give one really powerful example, which drills down immediately to impact and sustainability. We've been so proud to partner with Regeneron, a major employer in our county, and I'm sure well connected to BCW.
Yes.
And some of their really smart, brilliant data scientists and others collaborate with our data team to help collect actionable and digestible data which policymakers and other stakeholders can use in making these decisions around mentorship and supporting youth in a variety of ways. And Regeneron goes above and beyond and becomes a corporate sponsor and supporter of the work that we do. So it's really this amplifying equation which goes such a long way in terms of strength in numbers.
And that goes to another part of the conversation I wish we had more time to dive into deeper, but the power of for-profit and non-for-profit partnerships.
Exactly.
They are game changers. And there are wonderful thousands of businesses that, span both realms, both for-profit and non-for-profit, but the power of finding those relationships and collaborating. And I will say, again, we're so proud here at the BCW to say that over 155 members are non-for-profits. We have a very strong non-for-profit presence here within our organization with over 1,100 businesses. So I love hearing these stories. And let's talk a little bit about, Anne, how do you measure success, whether it's outcomes or relationships that have grown and been built or long-term impact? What does success truly look like for your organizations and your children and families that you support?
Oh, I'm happy to tell you all of that. I just want to jump on that Regeneron gratitude bandwagon because they have been an amazing support. So happy that you're doing that data work with them. We have bigs that are part of Regeneron that bring our teens to Regeneron during the year to learn about how to be a scientist, to expose that to them. They have become such an important supporter and sponsor of Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's an amazing thing. So I just wanted to give them a shout out as we were talking because it made me think of it. How do we look at success? We had 100% of our kids promoted to the next grade. We have 99.9% of our youth graduate high school because they have mentors. They did a longitudinal study. And what we do, I'll do a short version. For local, we do surveys every month, every year with the kids, with the parents, with the bigs to see how the kids are doing. We do monthly check-ins with all three to make sure they're safe and to make sure that we're going somewhere, and that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But our kids are going to school. We're seeing in this longitudinal study, it showed that kids that have had mentors have a 20% increase in the income that they earn between 20 and 25 because then they're non-mentored youth, peers, I should say. It was done with the U.S. Department of Treasury and Harvard. And they did it from the 1990s. And it just showed that having another person in your life is the success. Having that person to guide you to play with, to tell your secrets to know is going to be there, that presence makes a difference.
And your numbers reflect that. They're very powerful numbers.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the success both of your organizations are seeing.
Thank you.
Adam, child well-being is shaped by so many systems: education, housing, mental health, and the economy. What issues are you most focused on right now, and what impact are you aiming to achieve?
That's the magic question is how all of these systems interchange, and particularly for our most vulnerable kids and families who are at risk of being left behind, how we can make sure that change is evident. I highlighted a couple, and I just want to make sure that I give some clear indicators that we're on the right paths, even if we haven't solved some of these issues, including around ending childhood poverty and the mentorship that Anne's talking about, and supporting young advocates goes a long way. And we want to make sure that kids and their families have that kind of support. So we're continuing to invest from Port Chester to Greenberg up to Peekskill and those kinds of supportive programs. Youth mental health, we clearly have not solved yet as a society, so programs like the one I mentioned earlier, Disconnect to Reconnect, and helping families and schools to address burnout and anxiety and that sense of dislocation that so many of our kids are feeling, and certainly around early childhood outcomes, so making sure that we're supporting Head Start programs, the Westchester Works Scholarship Program, which allows parents and caregivers to access supportive funding so that they can access childcare in return for their kids. those are just a few of the areas in addition to collecting data around youth homelessness. And we have a court watchers program actually that's operating to make sure that any eviction processes that are underway are done fairly and justly, especially for the kids and their families who might not have the resources to support themselves in those issues. So just a few of the interconnected areas that we're really focused on making sure we're bringing that holistic model to supporting kids regardless of race or zip code.
And what I'm hearing, the theme throughout all of this is stability, which every child deserves and needs.
Excellent.
Before we wrap up, for businesses and community members who want to make a meaningful difference, what types of engagement or partnerships can be created to make a bigger impact for children in Westchester today? What do you two recommend?
Well, I know that there's a strong appetite for businesses who are made up of people who want to give back to their community. So part of our job is to create authentic and meaningful and impactful ways to do that. So advocacy is one way that folks can do that, and they can connect with Westchester Children's Association, our website, WCA4kids.org, and I know BCW will be sharing that with the audience as well. So to speak up for children, because leaders, including policymakers, listen to other community leaders, and we can support advocates in their own journey. Investing in programs and supportive mechanisms across the county go a long way for sustainability and impact. And then networking and introduction. So when someone at a company, whether it's a small, medium, or large enterprise, knows someone else who might be interested in a cause, make that introduction, make that connection, and that's how we can have a positive ripple effect and scale our impact to meet the moment, because these are all critical, crucial societal issues which we really need all stakeholders involved to help solve.
Great advice and great points. And what would you like to share?
To add to that amazing, succinct statement, I would say that in business, you want to be able to grow your business. And our children need to grow. We don't have a pipeline or a ladder to get them where they need to go all the time. Our business community has the strength and has the mentorship just waiting for our kids. And I have dreams of bringing more corporate sponsors to our organization, because we need to invest in our kids and create a pathway for them to be the next business owners, to be the next entrepreneurs, to begin their own companies. But they can't do that unless they're exposed to it. They don't understand so much about the business world, and there's so much wealth of knowledge in our business community and so much philanthropy within them. There are ways to invest in us, to invest in them. Create internship programs. Bring those children in with us, with their mentor. Learn about it. Have a pathway for them. These kids are connected. Let's help them get the next step. Let's give them the stars instead of just the next street.
And it's so true that, our children are our future, right?
They are.
And thank you both for the great work you're doing to provide opportunities so these kids in Westchester County, our wonderful kids, have a great future. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Be sure to check out the BCW Podcast Network's expansive lineup of shows: Leadership Unleashed, What's Trending, Advocacy and Politics Unplugged, The Member Spotlight, and Nonprofit Voices of Impact. The Business Council of Westchester is the county's largest business membership organization focusing on economic development and advocacy. With over 1,100 members, it is our mission to work for the profitability of our members and the prosperity of the Westchester community. To learn more about the Business Council of Westchester, please go to thebcw.org.